ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report for Friday. Right, it's about me first and you second. November 10th, 2006, Dameon Nelson sitting here alongside the man they call Meathead on
so
what
fresh
is
and so clean.
the world's most watched professional wrestling news program. Thanks again for joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
So if I've shaved,
what is that?
What is that thing on your chin?
Let's move right into the news, folks, and have an open discussion, if you will. There's been a lot of talk about this as of late, but as you saw at WWE's presentation of Cyber Sunday and the Raw following, a young man by the name of Kevin Federline. Some are calling him FedEx now. Get it? FedEx.
Is this topic over already?
The topic is just beginning. The question is this a wrong move by WWE to take advantage of this opportunity to use this pop culture icon, if you will, to further a storyline with their champion, a la David Arquette? Meathead, the question.
This is worse.
While
than
watching
Arquette.
Cyber Sunday, which was live on pay-per-view.
It was.
Which I don't think it was as bad as everybody else is out there saying.
Who's everybody else?
The interweb. The kids on the internet. Tippy-tapping. K-Fed comes out. What was your initial thought when you did the run-in during the main event?
Why is he still involved?
I don't have that answer.
Because, as JR has told us, his album has dropped.
That's what they do. Albums drop on Tuesdays.
They don't even make albums anymore.
CD, album, it's
my God, his album dropped. K-Fax.
Your initial
K-Fax, my
reaction
God.
when K-Fed walked down that aisle, came in, interfered in the matchup during the Champion of Champions match at Cyber Sunday.
Why is it not over already with this guy? That's my initial reaction.
Was it not a surprise enough? A twist that was unexpected enough? Where, a lot of people out there say WWE is predictable.
Anger.
They are predictable. It's same old stale stuff. Yet when they do something radical and out of the box
That's
like
not
this,
radical.
there's a revolt. It is
That's
radical.
not radical. He probably has a pre-signed deal to pimp his little gay rap CD or whatever it is for the next week.
You got an F
to
in
2 weeks.
Entertainment Weekly.
Oh, F as in foul.
Have you listened to it?
No, I won't.
Well, there you go. You're judging it before even listening to it.
I've watched him perform, though.
You were one of the 38 people who paid to
I was not at that
perform
building.
in Chicago?
I was not at that
The House
building.
of Blues?
No. But I have watched him perform on television. Wannabe.
Wannabe what?
Wannabe something.
I commend WWE for taking advantage of the situation and utilizing K-Fed to get free press, free publicity,
science,
free word going around the entertainment world that K-Fed, now being divorced from Britney, who cares, is involved with WWE. And I still say what I said after the first time he came out. He is not that bad of a character.
Oh my science. Oh my science.
The match is made Raw, December 31st, New Year's Eve. K-Fed one-on-one with John Cena for the WWE Championship.
Oh, it's a title match? That's announced?
Yeah, sure, why not? That's the impression I got. It may not be, but that's the impression I got. You sit here and you say this is worse than David Arquette being the WCW
No, actually,
champion.
David Arquette was worse.
Okay, thank you.
Not to appease you.
WWE is being smart.
No,
it was a
they're
surprise
not.
at Cyber Sunday when out came K-Fed. Now, it was a bit less of a surprise and less entertaining on Raw when he made the challenge to John Cena.
The one thing I found out about Kevin Federline, because I from now on will refuse to call him
K-Feed.
K-Fax or whatever his name
FedEx.
is. Whatever. His album dropped! His album dropped! By God Almighty, his album dropped! What I found odd about on Raw was the reports were that he had already been, Britney had already filed for divorce.
Via text message.
Earlier that day. He referred to, Britney and I, he's still suckling at the teat of Britney's fame.
It's pretty
Where
certain.
is yours?
It's pretty certain that was recorded the prior night at Cyber Sunday to play.
Obviously. And that's why WWE's smart.
I have made my case.
What did he have to do on Monday that was so important that if he's going to be involved in this, that he couldn't show up on Monday?
He's a new talent, and you want to pre-tape whatever you can so that you can control the message. That's what we had to do with you when you first came on.
Wrong! I was live when I first entered this realm.
That Raw gets a 3.7 rating.
I was Raw.
From this past Monday night, and up about 100,000 viewers from what it's been getting in prior weeks.
Don't read anything into it.
Well, only read this into it. After a pay-per-view, you always get a bump on Raw.
Correct.
Speaking of bumps, Tully Blanchard, a man who we said a couple of weeks ago was part of the WWE production team as a producer, i.e. agent, is now gone from the Federation.
Or the entertainment. Because they got the F out.
He wasn't there very long, and seemingly, I guess much like a Greg Gagne, old school beliefs, not quite what WWE wants right now.
He probably rubbed one of the boys the wrong way. Maybe he rubbed Pat Patterson the wrong way.
Pat Patterson is back.
How did you know?
I tell you this, I have been tuning into WWE 24/7, which is available where I live. And there's this great show
2007, we will be acquiring that.
Called Legends of Wrestling, hosted by JR. And
my God!
The panel includes...
His album, his 8-track is dropped!
The panel includes Michael P.S. Hayes, Dusty Rhodes, Pat Patterson, and Mike Graham from the Florida territories. And they sit there with cigarettes in hand and just talk about the old wrestlers. Bob Backlund and Hulk Hogan were the latest two that they talked about. And I tell you, it's just... It's nearly... it is very gratifying to sit there and watch that show and just see these old fools sit there and talk about the business and what it once was and shoot about a lot of stuff, including the real story behind Hogan's SummerSlam leg injury in his match with Randy Orton earlier this year. So check that out if you can on WWE 24/7. It's Legends of Wrestling. Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. Kurt Angle, as you know, is over there now. But one thing
as predicted by this guy.
One thing that was not known is the status of his creative control. And Kurt Angle does have, over his own self, creative control, full creative control, much like Hulk Hogan and many of the WCW stars did back when they were in WCW, when it was in business. So, on top of that, Kurt Angle's working very closely with Vince Russo, who is now involved with TNA as well. He's born again. He's a new man.
Is he involved with TNA or is he involved with God? Which is it? Vince,
both.
Pick one. Because God and TNA don't mix.
Well, TNA Wrestling and God might be a little bit closer than TNA in general.
Oh, my signs! Oh, my signs!
Kurt Angle also working very closely with a lot of the other talents and helping develop them and their storylines. We'll see how that goes.
I don't know if I like the sound of Kurt Angle being involved in creative for others.
It's reported as one of the similar situation of what he was doing in ECW, where Kurt Angle was very involved in everything, felt he was the leader of the brand, and needed to be involved with everything.
But was he asked to be the leader, or did he just force his opinion out there?
Depends on who you ask. Reports say either way.
Exactly. If you ask Kurt, he thought he was doing the right thing.
Let's get him on the phone. Is Kurt on the phone? Oh. The interns are off this week, so we can't get Kurt on the phone. No.
Kurt! Kurt! Kurt!
I don't think that's going to work.
Kurt?
Here. Kurt, TNA's next pay-per-view, when they do decide to take it on the road, is reported to be coming to the Chicago area. Well, as more information is available on that, as far as when and where, we will let you know right here on this very program.
What about the Y?
The YMCA?
The Y, it's in Chicago and it's on the road again. Was the Michigan stint that successful?
Yes, it was. I mean, they did a sellout. Not very many free seats given out for that 4,400 or so that they sold out in Detroit. From a wrestling and production standpoint, it was a good show, so they can do it. They can certainly go on the road.
I don't doubt it. I just throw the question out there. The hair on your chin is just throwing me
Conan,
off. I'm sorry.
Not the Barbarian, but Conan the Wrestler, who I was watching. As you know, I forget the name, but some Mexican wrestling legend passed away last week. So on either Telemundo or Univision, they were showing retrospects. And
what about television? They had
an old Conan match where he looked like a mix between the Ultimate Warrior, the Dingo Warrior, same person, and Sting. And it was very interesting.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was
because having the package that I have as far as my cable provider goes. I just set wrestling and I search for anything on the DVR looking for wrestling, and I have been watching Lucha Libre wrestling, and Conan. He did come into the WCW still wearing a bunch of that before he.
I wouldn't know.
Before he got stripped down to the point where he was just K-Dog.
K-Dog may need hip replacement surgery. Rumors are that Konnan can barely walk, and he's visibly in pain when he does walk, and is very close to being wheelchair-bound. Doesn't want to have the surgery, but knows he needs to have the surgery. Reports are also saying that Konnan is the most motivated he's been now, as he's been in the last number of years with this LAX angle.
LAX is hot.
It truly is, and wants to actually get back in the ring and compete.
You got to have the surgery if you plan on competing, buddy.
I think he's best in his role that he's in now, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
I was a Konnan hater for a very long time. Now he has his niche. He found it. He has a meaning, and he is useful in his current role.
Yeah, absolutely. And what he does. I mean, little interference here, a little mic work here.
Set flapjack. What's in that thing, you think? Pancakes?
Jumping beans.
Mexican jumping beans?
I didn't say that.
Well, they are Mexican, aren't they?
They're Latin Americans.
Speaking of Mexican, Rey Mysterio recently had his surgery to replace his ACL and his problems with his patella tendon.
Cool. That's nice.
Yeah. All right, Jim Cornette says that when he does return, remember he's taking a couple of months off, he's going to have not only his voice back, but will be only spending limited time with TNA. As you know, and as you've seen in interviews that we've conducted with him, Jim Cornette, he does not like Vince Russo at all. Jim Cornette does not believe that Vince Russo has changed one iota and does not want to be associated with the organization that Vince Russo is. Jim Cornette has stated, reports are, he has stated to TNA management that he will be appearing at their pay-per-view events and occasional TV tapings and will reevaluate come January, hint, hint, if Vince Russo is still with the company.
And that January is probably when Jim Cornette's contract comes up, and hint, hint, does he either up the cash to work with Vince, or does he go, you know what, I am not working with that guy, maybe Vince will take me in over at WWE.
Well, Jim Cornette has expressed he has no desire to be back on the road again with WWE.
We'll see, maybe he can go down and work back at OV-Dub again.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens. Jim Cornette, an asset to TNA, in my opinion.
An asset to the wrestling business.
Yeah. And just does not, has, quite frankly, disdain for Vince Russo. And if you want to see or hear those comments from Jim Cornette, an interview we conducted with him a little while back, you can hop on over to the videos section of pwrshow.com, and you can check out that exclusive interview only from the Pro Wrestling Report. Meathead, this week is a big week. As you know, November 7th has come and gone. November 7th, which marks the 9-year anniversary of what is, by and far, the most controversial match in professional wrestling history. That match being from the Survivor Series.
I am so glad that you didn't refer to November 7th as something else that happened on November 7th.
The Democrats taking over? By God! By God! By God! By science! Doesn't mean much when you really look at it. And it's,
no, it doesn't.
55 days or so before the transition of power.
But the important thing is, for those of you that view in the United States that are over 18 years of age, it doesn't matter if you vote one way, the other, or you just vote insane.
Just vote for the Democrat.
Just vote.
The Democrat.
Just vote.
The Survivor Series 1997. It's Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels going up against Bret Hart. True hatred between the two men. True drama in the match because it was
Bret's last match. How much of the true hatred was really known by the wrestling community at that point? How much? Because
maybe 60%.
That point right there, that apex in time, is where wrestling fans got smart. That is the day.
9 years. And after watching the match again to celebrate the anniversary, what an amazing contest it was. And what an amazing atmosphere it was. And what an amazing
Do you think the atmosphere even blew up more now that we're watching it, knowing the histrionics?
Oh, yeah. Just to look at the faces of an Earl Hebner, look at a Vince McMahon, and look at how swiftly Jerry Briscoe whisked Shawn Michaels out of the arena after it happened, listening to the dead silence after the bell rings by JR and the King because they didn't know, and watching Earl Hebner scurry out of the ring within 5 seconds after calling the match. You know, it all tells a story, and it feels good to watch that match, folks. It is available right now on WWE 24/7 in its entirety.
As it should.
With comments from Bret the Hitman Hart.
As it should be. And the comments should be there from Bret. They should be there from Shawn. All the key players. Earl.
Shawn has never really spoke. I mean, I think he finally admitted to knowing about it in a book or potentially in an interview.
I think it was Off the Record on TSN is actually when he brought up. Yeah,
could have been
for all you Canucks out there.
And there are a lot of Canucks out there. We're third. Our third most popular country is Canada, actually. United States first, United Kingdom next, followed by Canada, and then Ireland.
A lot of us...
We're doubling up.
It was a joke grenade, I got it. A lot of us would think that, or at least in the world community, that United States, United Kingdom, and Canada, we're all in bed with each other anyways. We're all related. We're cousins. We're all people at the family reunion. You know, we have some issues between us, but we get along, right, mate?
Rumors are, as far as ECW goes, that at their Extreme Elimination Chamber, which we'll talk more about in a minute, that the participant who will win that match is Test. You're reading a lot of that on the internet, and those rumors appear to be false, ladies and gentlemen. As Big Show may indeed end up losing the title, it may go to one of the other participants. Now, the question, Meathead, Elimination Chamber in
Extreme
ECW.
Elimination Chamber. Extreme Elimination.
They have not yet explained what makes it extreme.
No, they have not, but they have still laid that tag on top of it. Extreme Elimination Chamber.
I believe it was at the last 2 years we had Elimination Chamber at New Year's Revolution.
Correct.
And that was about the only time you saw it each year.
Which made it
special.
great.
Exactly. Does this diminish the specialty of that particular match?
Does this also diminish the fact that it's not going to be a New Year's Revolution now? Why would it be at a pay-per-view in December and January?
Well, because it's on Raw. That's a Raw pay-per-view. It's a distinctly different brand.
For those of you that have looked at WWE.com and noticed that the matches continually be added over and over.
To the Survivor Series, which is a tri-brand pay-per-view.
Correct.
It is Raw versus SmackDown versus
How
ECW.
do you know where I was going with it? Can I just finish my opinion?
All I was saying was...
Ass. For all of those that have gone to WWE.com, any question that there are distinctly different brands,
Three of
now it's gone. They're all taken up now.
But
any distinction that was there, it's gone.
That's what makes it special. First off, let's not discount
special.
the glory of the fact that the 3 matches announced so far, as of this taping on Friday, are 3 traditional Survivor Series matchups.
Which is great. Thank you.
And it's good to get back to that. And as a matter of fact, the 97 series was all 10 years ago, 9 years ago rather, was all Survivor Series style matchups, traditional Survivor Series
The last
style
pay-per-view that I believe had the most amount of Survivor Series style matchups was the one, and I always forget the year. Godfather came out with the pimps, so it was Godfather, it was D'Lo Brown, it was the Headbangers dressed as pimps versus whatever, and there was like 3 or 4 different Big Show's team versus Big Boss Man's team, and it just, ugh. That was the matter of fact. That was the pay-per-view that Big Show came back later on and won the World Championship.
You graduated over to the Survivor Series. We were talking about the Extreme Elimination Chamber match.
Okay.
It has been announced. Surprise 6th participant will be announced next week on ECW TV, which will be live.
And the reason why I melded those together is because the surprise 6th participant in this Extreme Elimination Chamber could be from Raw, could be from SmackDown.
Maybe it's K-Fed. I'm just saying.
Kevin Federline.
Maybe it's going to be Flash Funk. Oh. Ooh, Flash, you are so funky. Now, you know the only reason, at least reports indicate the reason he's back.
Because they're going on a nostalgia trip again.
No. He is good friends with the King. All hail King Booker! He is a champion of champions, you know.
Well, they're from the same area. And did we not, you and I, tell you right here on this very program, Booker T would be the King of Kings, champion of champions.
Well, I knew that before the match was even announced, because he is the King. He is King Booker.
Actually, he's not the King of Kings. I'm sorry, Triple H, that was trademarked. Behold the
What
King!
needs to be done to make the Extreme Elimination Chamber match extreme?
Barbed wire.
What elements do they need to add to make it extreme?
That's what Vince will do. He'll put barbed wire on it.
Instead of the chains?
It'll be extreme! Bah! There'll be weapons!
Is it too highfalutin for an ECW pay-per-view?
Absolutely.
I tend to agree with that.
There is more steel in there than there would be ECW fans.
Oh, hey now, come on.
Because ECW fans don't watch ECW anymore.
Well, let me correct you. old ECW fans rarely watch ECW.
I don't call the new people that watch ECW fans.
Almost 2 million of them a week are watching
There's
the show.
WWE fans that happen to watch the program called ECW.
Almost 2 million viewers a week. You can't knock it. Now, is it, and we've had this conversation before, is it the old ECW from the bingo halls, from the smaller
No,
venues
and
across
they
the
never
country with a
promised
gritty
that.
feel to it?
They never
with
promised you that. They
the
never said
rebellious feel to it like TNA now
They
has.
never said they were going to be that either.
Exactly.
They never told you they were going to be that. They're not failing in their mission for ECW. ECW is another WWE product.
Brand. It's the third distinctly different brand.
Distinctly different is taking on a new feel.
Has
Because
TNA
distinctly and different don't really work anymore between the three brands. Because now you've got, I'm not done, you've got red, you've got blue, and then you've got black. Raw, Smackdown, ECW. An idea which, I know as you're reading Controversy Creates Cash, was first brought to the table by Mr. Bischoff.
He also invented blue jeans and the internet with Al Gore. Has TNA taken the spot of ECW of
Yes.
old?
I'd say the combination of the WCW and ECW fan, that's where TNA is right now. That's the niche that TNA has. It's taking the fan that hates WWE.
But it's not hates WWE.
Yeah, hate's a strong word. Hate's a really strong word.
TNA is clearly the underdog
Want
federation.
something different.
And people always want to cheer for the underdog. If ECW brand of WWE was positioned as the underdog and not the supplementary entertainment of Raw and SmackDown,
which
then
it
there
is,
might be something there. But TNA is clearly the underdog, and that is why many fans get behind TNA.
That's why many fans, even like myself, always got behind WCW. Because they were always going to be, even while winning the Monday Night Wars, they were always going to be the underdog.
83 straight weeks or something like that.
They were always going to be the underdog.
But I would venture to say that TNA fans do, as much as they don't want to admit it, do watch WWE. But will WWE fans watch TNA?
No. You got it right on the head, right on your bald head. You hit it right on the top. WWE fans not necessarily will watch TNA, but I bet you TNA fans do watch WWE product.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Good job.
Wrestling is wrestling. You can watch now. And one other thing that I noticed recently that sort of happened: wrestling's back on 4 nights a week again.
It sure is.
It's the way it was back before. What was it? W no longer around went under, and ECW went under.
World Class Championship Wrestling.
And TNA was actually, remember, TNA started a year after your two companies folded. But now we're right back to where we were then, because it was Raw on Monday nights and along with Nitro. And then on Thursday nights it was Thunder. On Friday nights it was ECW.
Mm-hmm. And then you went Monday nights with Raw and Nitro. You went Thursday nights with SmackDown and Thunder. Then you went Friday nights with TNN, and the ECW. Then you went Thunder on Wednesdays.
Well, you can't really count Thunder. You need viewership to count as a show. That
WCW Saturday night. I mean, which used to be the flagship show until Nitro came around.
Yes, that is very true. That is all I have for this week.
Wow.
For the Pro Wrestling Report, I thought there was
I feel
one
like
more
we're
thing.
supposed to be here talking more about more things.
Well, TNA Genesis pay-per-view is coming up. Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle are going to go one-on-one. The question is it too early for that matchup?
Yes. They need to have a funky, not settled finish.
So 6 months with the Angle but never touch each other?
No.
Like Paul Heyman did ever so well when he ran ECW?
No, because you know what's going to happen? They're going to have the match, then they're going to have different little steps where they don't touch each other.
Stipulations.
And then come back again. Make sense?
It could. Remember, Sting's contract is up in January.
Mm-hmm.
And he is currently the NWA champion. Now, unless he chooses to renew, which wasn't part of the initial plan, which was come in for a year, help TNA get off the ground, help them get where they need to go.
Which he's done.
Exactly. And
not to say that it's Sting that's done everything that he's done, with the company, but he's done his part.
It's true. Genesis coming up on the, is it the 18th?
It's on a Sunday.
Oh, wow. You're very good. You're very good.
Thank you.
It's not the Thanksgiving night tradition, or the Thanksgiving Eve tradition, or the Thanksgiving weekend tradition. Speaking of traditions, it is traditionally over for this week here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
It wasn't that good.
I'm good with the segues, dude.
That's Frank's job. You know it. I know it.
Make sure you tune in to PWR daily, each and every day, on pwrshow.com or on YouTube, wherever you're choosing to watch us. Again, another record week on the website and with your correspondences last week, and experiencing growth that we can only be doing with your help.
All we need now is our female viewers to start experiencing pictures this way, and then I can experience growth, and we'll be fine.
And we're out of time. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report. Coming up on TV in Milwaukee is some special features for you, so stay tuned. We'll see you next week on the Pro Wrestling Report.